The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday. 1 hour to go until the opening bell, and we got markets in record territory, positive green across the board. S&P's up 11 points, trading at 33.64. We have the Nasdaq Futures up 43 at 95.70. Dow Futures up 104 at 29,349. We start things off. We're going to start it off with the VIX this morning. Market not near record territory, at record territory for the S&P, for the Nasdaq as well, I believe. 1462 in that volatility index to start things off. We'll jump over to the charts. We'll start things off with the Dow. As you can see, extending higher from overnight. That's your close last night at about 29,244. Quite a charge higher throughout the day. For some context, yesterday in the Dow, we were at 28,951 as of 23 hours ago, to be exact. We're now 400 Dow points above that price level, 29,345. NASDAQ 100, 95.64. We actually made it up to a high of 95.81 as of about 9:30. Is that 2 nights ago? Yes, I believe. No, last night, correct. 9:30 last night. The highs for the NASDAQ 100. S&P 500, 33.62. We've been hanging at this level since about 9:30 p.m. as well last night. You see the charge higher, basically 9:15. We're trading at 33.14. You're now trading above 33.60. Quite a run. Crude oil back above $50. Crude yesterday was under that level, 49.46. The low actually being 49.45. We're up about $1 from that level at $50.41. There's your gold contract, 15.74. Gold yesterday reaching a high of about 15.80. And the Euro-US dollar, we have some dollar strength yet again. Euro now under 109 at 108.97 and falling as we speak. In terms of what else you have happening across the market today, first day of primary voting in New Hampshire. Be interesting to see what they have to say there as election season in full swing. We also have a coronavirus, another update. And the headline there, 13th case in the U.S., the number now, total number over 1,000 in terms of deaths, with more than 43,100 confirmed cases of the coronavirus worldwide. Big news out there in terms of mobile. T-Mobile and Sprint, judge approving that merger over a lawsuit brought by the states. So it looks like T-Mobile going to be able to purchase Sprint, or should I say merge with Sprint, in a $26 billion deal. And to see how Sprint is trading, I believe is it S? Yes, there it is. $4.80 yesterday. How about $8 today? Sprint up dramatically on that news, as it looks like that merger should go through. And I was jumping around, even Verizon. Interesting, they spiked higher as well. I wonder, just the idea, less competitors in the marketplace maybe. The three of them are going to have a little bit more leeway. AT&T, I have not been to them, but let's see how they're trading on that news this morning. Yeah, spiking higher as well. So looks like the entire industry is going to be helped by the merger of T-Mobile and Sprint, as T-Mobile and Sprint, now AT&T up to about 39.04. Other news out there in the market, Under Armour tanking as sales miss sees $50 million to $60 million hit from coronavirus. That's one of the first times I've seen a company actually monetize exactly what they expect, and I'm sure that might be on the less harmful side, as in the most optimistic, rosy view possibly, but nonetheless, the retailer expecting the coronavirus outbreak in China to lower sales by roughly 50 to 60 million during the fiscal first quarter, so that's just this 90 days we're currently in. The CEO says the company faces ongoing demand challenges, and getting into the numbers, earnings per share, 10 cents versus 10 as they expected. And then revenue, 1.44 versus 1.47. To get over to their chart. UA, I believe. Yes. Closed at 18.15 yesterday. It was all the way down to 15.05. Currently trading at about 15.85 right now. In terms of what else, Hasbro out with their earnings, their shares soaring on Star Wars and Frozen 2 toys, fueled by holiday sales. So a big holiday season for Star Wars, for Frozen 2. Frozen 2, I believe, becoming the largest grossing animated film of all time. Net income rising to $267 million, or $2.01 a share in the fourth quarter, from just $8 million or 7 cents a share a year earlier. Earnings in the latest period helped by a one-time benefit of $102 million from gains in foreign currency hedging. That's quite a number. Excluding items, they earned $1.24 a share, higher than the 91 cents. Getting over to Hasbro shares this morning. There's some action up to about 108.62, spiked to 110 initially. Gotta love the Thinkorswim charts. You can always see when the actual conference call even begins at 8 a.m., so they're probably on that conference call still, going through the markets. In terms of what else, jumping over to notes and bonds briefly. Today, a big day in Washington, as is usually the case recently. But we have Chairman Powell in his semi-annual speech. He will be at semi-annual appearance, you should say. He'll be in front of the House today. I believe the Financial Select Services Committee, I'll pull it up. But he'll be in front of the House today, and then he'll take questions, and he'll be at the Senate tomorrow. So overnight, you had the 30-year. This is trading a little bit lower. We're down about 26 ticks, trading at 126.15. You see the close of action somewhere around 4 yesterday. We're up at 162.26. And then getting into the 10-year in a similar trade yesterday, I mean, we were all the way down at 130.07. I believe that's when we were correlating to about 1.65 10-year yield. And from there, we're now at about 131.010 and pulling back a little bit overnight. Jumping over to what else we have, Powell stresses, so the speech must be out, that the Fed to closely monitor coronavirus for a hit to China. So he said Tuesday the central bank is closely monitoring the coronavirus for its impact on China and the global economy. The remarks came in the central bank chief's semi-annual testimony before Congress. So closely monitoring, quote unquote, is the term they're using for the coronavirus, its impact on China, and the effect it could have on the global economic growth, he said. In his semi-annual testimony, Powell said the new threat comes just as trade uncertainties have diminished. Though the U.S. economy appears resilient to global headwinds, despite the threat from the virus, he said the Fed policy is well positioned after a series of rate cuts in 2019. As long as incoming information about the economy remains broadly consistent with this outlook, the current stance of the monetary policy will likely remain appropriate. So Powell's remarks recap the Fed's 61-page semi-annual report that lawmakers received on Friday. So usually the Fed wants to stay out of the business of raising, hiking, cutting right prior to an election. We'll see how this year shakes out, though, as Powell appears in front of the House today, and then he is in front of the Senate tomorrow. Jumping around to some of the other FANG stocks, seeing how they're trading this morning. Microsoft charging higher, 191.04, closed at 188.70. Amazon, which had an all-time high yesterday, looking to open at an all-time high again today at about 21.49. Google shares, same deal, now over 1,500 at 15.14. Netflix, 372. Disney charging higher at 142.75. And after the bell today, we get Lyft earnings trading higher ahead of that, and Uber looking to open positive at about 40.41 after their earnings last week. Stay tuned, folks. We'll take a look at Uber. We'll take a look at Lyft. We'll take a look at what else we have coming up for the rest of the program. And today, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year, or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year, or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, everybody. Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN. Checking back in on the S&Ps right now, sitting at 3362, off a bit. That's a 15-minute chart. We were just up to about 3365, about a few points off the all-time high that we had. We have the Dow Futures right now up 93 points, trading at 29,338, and NASDAQ Futures up 37. We pulled it up, some of those FANG stocks, even checking back on Amazon, which looks to open at an all-time high. I mean, it's remarkable, these Amazon stocks. Microsoft as well, charging higher, 191. We were just at basically 180 as of the open Thursday. And checking in on Apple, a little bit more correlated to China. Apple looking for that high we had last week of 325.73. What else we have happening across the markets? Slack downplaying reports that sent the stock soaring 15%. Shares fall after hours. So the company filed an 8-K Monday downplaying news report that sent the stock higher. Earlier in the day, Business Insider reported that Slack had just scored its biggest customer deal ever, saying IBM had recently decided to deploy its technology to all its 350,000 employees. Slack said in the filing, IBM has been Slack's largest customer for several years and has explained its usage of Slack over that time. So you had that news breaking. You had Slack trading higher. And to jump over to their shares, Work is their symbol. Talk about an acceleration yesterday. You go from $23 up to $27.89, and then look at the fall off right at 4 o'clock, as I assume that's maybe when that report comes out. Still, though, trading from about 23 up to 24.77, talking about $1.77 in profit there, 6-7% from yesterday where we were trading, even though they're kind of denying that, but maybe there's some truth to upping their relationship in some capacity. As I mentioned it, you also have Lyft with their earnings, pulling up the stock for some context, jumping over to even a daily. Quite the run from Lyft. They were the first ride-hailing company to go public, if you recall. They go public, trade higher, collapse. Uber is the later one to go public, so they trim their price projection for their own shares before that happened. But quite a chart, low at 37. We've risen since then, 53.72, and actually trading higher. And Lyft, no pun intended, got a lift last week when Uber came out with their earnings. Jumping over to Uber, Similar price action, not quite the sell-off in the beginning because they got to price after lifted, but still a low of 25.58 just in November. Look at the acceleration in the volume that's happened since that low. See a huge spike in volume as we've built up. They come out with their earnings on February 5th, and the real beat that they had in there was that they said that they were going to be cash flow positive by the end of this year, and that was quite a wake up for the market. You had the shares trade from 35, closed at almost 40, made it up to 41.34 yesterday, pulled entirely back to finish in the red, actually, Uber, but 40.40 looking open about 1% in the positive so far this morning. Other news out there, earnings-wise, you have XPO announcing a new CFO, watches for coronavirus impact, their top analyst estimates for earnings, but missed estimates for revenue. A new CFO, who was the former CFO of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, helped lead asset sales and spin-offs at Wyndham. So they operate 1 million square feet of warehouse space in China and 8 million in Asia. I'm sure they're dealing with a lot going on with the coronavirus. But checking out their shares this morning, quite a charge higher. Closed at 94. You have that company, Express, trading at 96.25 so far this morning. Going into some of the details of the T-Mobile and Sprint deal. So $26 billion, that merger. It will merge the third and fourth largest carrier. Shares of T-Mobile, I hadn't pulled them up, but they, of course, are up on that news as well. 91.60 was at about 84.53 yesterday. We took a look at Sprint, that is up from $4.80 up to almost $8. And as mentioned, pretty interesting, you would think that the first and second, Verizon and AT&T, might be hurt by the number 3 and number 4 merging. That would at least be the logic the number 3 and number 4 are using to merge. But you have Verizon trading up about 1% ahead of that news, and you also have AT&T trading up more than about 1%, 1.5% at 38.96. Getting into some of the deals, the details of it, though, you had attorneys general from New York, California, Connecticut. There's a list of them right there, and D.C. bringing the lawsuit to block the deal following approval from the Justice Department. So you have the states suing. The states had argued that combining the number 3 and number 4 U.S. carriers would limit competition and result in higher prices for consumers. Companies had argued their merger would help them compete against AT&T and Verizon. Interesting that you see both those shares, keep in mind, trading higher on this news. Not sure if they're gaining a competitor, how they trade higher, and advance efforts to build a nationwide 5G. So they say in here, the company told the FCC they would deploy a 5G network covering 97% of the U.S. population within 3 years of closing the deal. Well, the deal looks like it's going to get closed. Sprint also agreed to sell Boost Mobile, Virgin Mobile, and other prepaid phone business, as well as some of its wireless spectrum to Dish for $5 billion before gaining approval from the Justice Department. In the decision filed Tuesday, Judge Victor Marrero wrote, "The resulting stalemate leaves the court lacking sufficiently impartial and objective ground on which to rely in basing a sound forecast of the likely competitive effects of a merger." So 3 points on which the court rejected the state's objections. I guess they failed to convince the court. Bottom line, those shares trading higher so far this morning. Jumping back into what else we have happening. I believe we had, Callaway Golf out with their earnings. Jumping over to that. Their symbol ELY. Callaway Golf closed yesterday about 20.60 and right now trading at about 19.40. Jumping over, folks, to TFNN.com. There we go. On the front page of TFNN, you'll see Basil Chapman. He has a webinar coming up Thursday night. So 2 days from right now, you can sign up for it on the front page of TFNN, 90-minute webinar. What I wanted to bring up real quickly is this is the subscriber section of the archive webinars available right now. So these are archive webinars Basil has done for subscribers. You can get in here and watch these right now. He has one from November 19th, a comprehensive review of the Chapman Wave techniques and market outlook ahead for 2020. So you can get in there. You can start watching that right now. That's 90 minutes long, exactly right there. You can see that Tuesday 19th. That's in there if you sign up, along with many others if you want to check them out. So that webinar, Thursday evening, right after Tom's show at 4 o'clock. and Basil talking about the techniques he's using when he's looking at the market. Basil does a great show every day, 12 noon, Tiger Technicians Hour. Markets have a majority of the time a bullish bias, so it takes specific conditions to change the trend significantly. Should be an interesting workshop. Basil going short the Dow 121. We were looking at this. It was down substantially. Of course, it has a reversal right near highs. I'd be interested to hear what Basil has to say with that reversal and if the profit run continues or if we might be seeing another peak and where that peak might match up. Checking back in on the S&Ps as we head to the break. Right now, S&Ps trading 33.61, just off that price level of 33.65. Putting this even on the last 20 days. Check out that run from the beginning of February, end of January, basically, 4 p.m., January 31st, trading at 32.22, 32.12, now at 33.63, 150 S&P points from where we started February. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the markets in positive territory, right near record highs. S&P futures up 8 points at 33.61. NASDAQ futures up 37, 95.64. Dow futures up 93, 29,338. Checking in on the VIX one final time this morning as we have about 30 minutes to go until the opening bell. 1485 on that volatility index, down a bit from even where we closed yesterday as markets extend to positive territory overnight. Jumping back and checking in on some of the other action today, tying it back to Powell. So interesting, just going over some of his remarks. He begins speaking at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then he'll take questions after his prepared remarks. He did, though, express some misgivings about the rates being so low, not only with his own Fed, but in other central banks around the world. The Fed last year held a series of public hearings to discuss policy options in the future. Quote unquote, this low interest rate environment may limit the ability of central banks to reduce policy interest rates enough to support the economy during a downturn. And then one other thing I found interesting in here, just jumping around a bit. So it begins at 10 a.m. Powell citing two long-run challenges to the economy in his testimony, the low labor force participation rate and productivity gains. He also weighed in on the federal budget, arguing that lawmakers should tackle ballooning deficits and the national debt while the economy is strong to provide more room to react during the next downturn. So that begins at 10 a.m. That's one of the things we mentioned yesterday with the budget that was out yesterday, that is factoring in just low borrowing rates for as far as the eye can see. And what if things change at any point in the future? Hopefully they do, as in you get some growth, you get some higher interest rates, but we'll see. I appreciate you joining me, folks. Stay tuned. We got Larry Pesavento coming up live at 9 o'clock. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. Those remarks beginning at 10 should be a good morning in the market. Of course, Fast Market at 11. Basil Chapman at noon. Steve Rhodes, Dave White, Tom O'Brien, all this afternoon. And don't forget, go sign up for Basil right now. Front page of TFNN.com. You can start watching those archive webinars, and you'll be in there for Thursday's live 90-minute webinar, as well as 30 days to the opening call. I encourage you to check it out, folks. Stay tuned. We got our man Larry Pesavento coming up right after this update. 3 minutes with Trade What You See. We'll be right back.